Welcome to Ruby interview questions for the dynamic programming language. Ruby is a powerful, object-oriented language that's beloved by developers for its elegant syntax and flexibility. In this series, you'll master the essential concepts that frequently appear in Ruby interviews. The core concepts include metaprogramming, which allows you to write code that writes code, blocks and iterators that make Ruby so expressive, and object-oriented design principles that form Ruby's foundation. For practical areas, you'll learn about gems and bundler for package management, testing frameworks like RSpec and Minitest, and dynamic methods that showcase Ruby's metaprogramming capabilities. These topics are crucial for any Ruby developer interview and will give you the confidence to tackle even the most challenging questions. Metaprogramming is Ruby's superpower. It's the ability to write code that writes code dynamically at runtime. This means your programs can modify classes, create methods on the fly, and manipulate the program's structure while it's running. Think of it as giving your code the ability to be self-aware and self-modifying. The example shown demonstrates define method, which creates a method called greet dynamically. Instead of writing the method definition manually, you're using Ruby's metaprogramming features to create it programmatically. This is incredibly powerful because it allows you to create flexible, adaptable code that can respond to different conditions and requirements. Many of Ruby's most popular features, like Rails Active Record, rely heavily on metaprogramming to provide their clean, intuitive interfaces. Blocks are one of Ruby's most distinctive features. They're anonymous functions that can be passed to methods. Think of them as chunks of code that you can hand over to another method to execute. You can create blocks using either curly braces or the do-end syntax. The yield keyword is how methods execute the blocks that are passed to them. Blocks are commonly used with iterators like each, map, and select, making Ruby code incredibly expressive and readable. The each method iterates through collections, executing the block for each element. The map method transforms each element using the block and returns a new array. You can also check if a block was passed to a method using block given ? This pattern makes Ruby code feel natural and intuitive, almost like speaking in plain English. Ruby is a purely object-oriented language, which means everything in Ruby is an object. The four fundamental principles of object-oriented programming are encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Encapsulation means bundling data and methods together in classes, with private methods controlling access to internal details. This keeps your code organized and secure by hiding implementation details. Inheritance allows classes to inherit from parent classes using the less than symbol, promoting code reuse and creating hierarchical relationships. Polymorphism enables the same method to behave differently in different classes, allowing you to call the same method on different objects and get appropriate behavior for each. Abstraction hides complex implementation details behind simple interfaces, making your code easier to use and understand. These principles work together to create maintainable, scalable, and elegant Ruby code. Gems are packaged Ruby libraries and applications that extend Ruby's functionality. Think of them as pre-built solutions that you can easily add to your projects. Ruby Gems is the package manager that handles installing, updating, and managing these gems on your system. When you run gem install followed by a gem name, Ruby Gems downloads and installs that package along with any dependencies it needs. Bundler is a higher-level tool that ensures consistent gem versions across different environments. It uses a gemfile to specify which gems your application needs and their version requirements. When you run bundle install, Bundler reads the gemfile and installs all the specified gems with compatible versions. The bundle gem command helps you create new gems, setting up the proper directory structure and files. This ecosystem makes it incredibly easy to share code and build upon others' work in the Ruby community. Testing is crucial in Ruby development, and the language offers several excellent frameworks to choose from. RSpec is a behavior-driven development framework that uses an expressive syntax with describe and it blocks. It reads almost like natural language, making tests easy to understand and maintain. RSpec encourages you to think about what your code should do rather than just how it works. Minitest is Ruby's built-in testing framework that comes with the standard library. It's lightweight and fast, providing both traditional assert-style testing and spec-style syntax. Many Ruby developers prefer Minitest for its simplicity and performance. Cucumber is designed for acceptance testing using Gherkin syntax with given when-then scenarios. It allows non-technical stakeholders to understand and even write tests. TestUnit is the traditional XUnit style testing framework that uses assert-based test methods. Each framework has its strengths, and choosing the right one depends on your project's needs and team preferences. Method missing is a special method that gets called when you try to invoke a method that doesn't exist on an object. It's the foundation of Ruby's dynamic method handling and enables powerful proxy patterns. When Ruby can't find a method, instead of throwing an error immediately, it calls method missing and gives you a chance to handle the situation. This is how many Ruby frameworks create their magic. They use method missing to respond to method calls that weren't explicitly defined. In the example, the dynamic class intercepts calls to methods that start with find by and handles them specially. This pattern is commonly used in Rails Active Record to create dynamic finder methods. However, you should use method missing carefully and always call super for methods you don't want to handle, so Ruby can raise the appropriate error. This technique is foundational to many Ruby frameworks and gems. Modules in Ruby serve as namespaces that group related methods together and enable a form of multiple inheritance through Mixins. Unlike classes, you can't instantiate modules directly, but you can include them in classes to share functionality. This is Ruby's answer to multiple inheritance. While a class can only inherit from one parent class, it can include multiple modules. When you include a module in a class, all the module's instance methods become available to instances of that class. The extend keyword is similar, but adds the module's methods as class methods instead of instance methods. This mix-in pattern promotes code reuse and helps keep your classes focused on their primary responsibilities. Modules also serve as namespaces, helping organize related classes and preventing naming conflicts. The example shows a greetings module being included in a person class, giving person instances access to the hello method. Exception handling in Ruby uses the begin, rescue, and block structure to gracefully handle errors that might occur during program execution. The begin keyword starts the block where you put code that might raise an exception. The rescue keyword catches exceptions and allows you to handle them appropriately instead of letting your program crash. You can rescue specific exception types, like zero division error, which makes your error handling more precise and informative. The ensure block always executes, regardless of whether an exception occurred, making it perfect for cleanup code like closing files or database connections. Ruby has a hierarchy of exception classes, with standard error being the parent of most exceptions you'll want to rescue. It's important to rescue specific exception types when possible rather than using a bare rescue, which catches all exceptions and can hide important errors. Good exception handling makes your Ruby applications more robust and user-friendly. To succeed in Ruby interviews, focus on these key areas. Practice coding regularly by writing Ruby code and working through metaprogramming examples. The more you code, the more comfortable you'll become with Ruby's unique features and syntax. Master core concepts deeply understand object-oriented programming principles, know how blocks, modules, and mixins work, and be able to explain them clearly. Use real-world examples when discussing concepts. Instead of just defining what metaprogramming is, explain how Rails uses it or describe a practical scenario where you'd use method missing. Discuss your experience with testing frameworks and gem development, as these show practical Ruby knowledge. Understand design patterns commonly used in Ruby applications, and familiarize yourself with Rails conventions, even if the job isn't specifically for Rails development. Remember, Ruby interviews often focus on problem-solving and code elegance, so practice writing clean, readable Ruby code that follows the language's conventions and philosophy.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.